Kia ora e hoa ma, no mai anō, welcome back to another episode of UniQuest. My name is Huriwai and this is General Level 6. Today we're going to be practicing glide, 1 foot idle, frame hopping, which is the start of stand-up wheel walk, and we'll finish it off with the sideways wheel walk mount. Let's get into it. First up, gliding. I'm going to leave a link down in the description below for wheel walk. Make sure you get your 1 foot wheel walk as solid as possible, then come back here. Alright, so gliding. It's essentially 1 foot wheel walk, but instead of going slow and controlled, try and go as fast as you can. When you bring your foot back to the tire, it's naturally going to glide. So I'll show you first the natural 1 foot wheel walk, nice and slow. This is what it's going to look like at the beginning. But then once you get better and you start pushing a little bit faster, when you bring your foot back, it's naturally going to start sliding a little bit, creating that gliding movement. Alright, so here we go again, 1 foot wheel walk, a little bit faster. And see, it naturally creates that gliding movement. Body positioning, back nice and straight, just like usual, but you want to lean back a little bit, almost to the point where the uni is going to shoot out in front of you, but your foot is going to catch it, acting as a brake to rebalance you, okay? So just like this, nice and straight, leaning back a little bit, so your foot catches the tire. Foot positioning, 1 foot on the frame, and you should feel the corner of the frame, the crown of the frame, on the ball of your foot. I like to push my heel into the frame as well. Your foot that's going to be on the tire acting as a brake, you don't want to have just your heel or just your toe on the frame. For as much stability as possible, try and have the middle of your foot acting as the brake. The difficult part is applying the right amount of pressure. Apply too much pressure and you're going to come off like that. But if you don't add enough pressure, you're going to lose control and fall backwards like this. Learning to glide on flat ground or on a slope are two very different things. Learning on flat ground, you have to worry about picking up your speed, but when you're on a slope, you can hold on to a wall, or if you're lucky enough to have a pole like this, and you can practice the actual gliding technique rather than having to worry about picking up speed. So if you've got a slope like this, it's perfect for practicing this gliding motion. Just like that. This is when you can experiment with your foot placement and the amount of pressure that you want to add onto the tire. Don't forget, just like anything else, the faster you go, the more it's going to balance by itself. If you're falling sideways, it's probably because you're not going fast enough, so try and pick up a bit of speed. If you're having trouble picking up speed, it's because you're adding too much pressure on your tire, like this. So try and relax a little bit. Whoa. Once you get your technique down on the slope, there's 3 different ways to pick up speed on flatland. That's either riding as fast as you can and going directly into the gliding movement, riding 1 footed as fast as you can and then into the glide. Or, like we did before, 1 foot wheel walk as fast as you can and then naturally going into that gliding movement. Next up, 1 foot idle. This trick is pretty easy, probably should have learned it a long time ago, but anyway, I'll leave the previous links in the description. That's beginner level 2 and general level 1. Alright, so you're going to be idling with the same foot that you would use for 1 foot ride, and it's going to be the foot closest to the ground that you're going to keep on the unicycle, all right? Your other foot, taking it off, putting it on the frame, locking it into the frame as much as you can. That's what's going to give you your stability to make this trick possible. You can do this trick with your foot off the frame, but it is a lot harder. The two things that you're going to want to try and stay away from is idling too short like this. Idling too short, well, you're going to have to balance a lot. And idling too long like this. Idling too far. Also requires a lot of extra balance work. So try and find the nice in-between motion. Something like this. Back and forth, back and forth. Easy. And of course, as always, if you're struggling, find a wall. Ngāwari rawa, get that easy trick out of here. Okay, so next we're going to learn what I call frame hopping. It's basically the prerequisite trick to stand-up wheel walk. Very similar to a foot jam. I'll leave the link for that down in the description. All right, frame hopping. This is what it's going to look like. One foot on the tire and one foot on the frame, then hopping like normal. Multiple ways to get into this trick. You can jump directly up or you can step up like this, like the foot jam. Just make sure you maintain pressure on that tire. I put it half on the tire and half on the frame, all right? Just like this. Maintain that pressure. If your foot comes off the tire, you're gonna go like that. Try to keep this as a one-handed trick, so you've got one arm out for balance, like that. Keep it nice and tight, like this. Nice and tight. Keep it tight. Don't be too expansive like this. Nice and tight with your eyes directly over the wheel. Your legs should be touching the seat right there, just around your knees. Something you can do to make it a bit more interesting is to take your hand off the seat and to straighten up just for a second, just like this. You can do it from hopping or directly into it like this. Oh. And if you're wondering what this weird trick is for, it's for stand-up wheel walk like this and like this. Now we're going to finish it off with a fun one. This one might seem a bit difficult, but we're going to work at it in a way that it suits beginner riders. It's sideways wheel walk, but as a mount. Okay, so this is what we're working with. Sideways wheel walk, just like this. This should be the least of your worries, but don't worry about riding out backwards. You can just hop like that. And the best prerequisite that I can think of for this trick would be 90-degree unispin. I'll leave it down in the description below. All right, so it doesn't matter which way you're gonna have the unicycle. You can have it this way or that way, it doesn't matter. Hand positioning. One hand all the way at the back, and whichever hand is in the front, and by that I mean, whichever is your main foot that's gonna be doing the pushing, that's your front hand. Try to have it as far on this end as possible, but not all the way on the handle, because that can put a lot of pressure on your handle and can damage your seat. So try and have it half on the handle, half on the seat, just like this. And then when you get up over the unicycle, you want to have your body over as much as possible, just like the 90-degree unispin. After you've got your hand positioning, you're going to want to start and switch, because you're only going to be traveling half a rev. So start and switch so that after you travel that half rev, you're ready to land back in your most comfortable position. Your front foot is going to be doing the majority of the pushing, and that's usually your dominant foot, the same foot that you would use for gliding, 1 foot ride, 1 foot wheel walk. Your other foot, your back foot, is going to be braking, okay? So pushing with that front foot, braking with the back. Push with the front, brake with the back. Oh yeah. So there's a lot going on with this trick. You're probably wondering, what the hell, how do I manage this? Try to do it with just 3 touches of the wheel, okay? So your front foot is going to give it its initial push, then 1 touch with that back foot for the brake, and then a 3rd push, or a 3rd touch with your front foot to finish it off, just like this. 1 first push, a brake, and then the 3rd push to get back down. So 1 more time, 3 touches, push, brake, push, just like that. Getting back to the pedals is the hard part. In terms of what's happening with the seat, you can either land seat in like this, just like that. Or, and this is probably what you're used to from the 90-degree unispin, is to land seat in front like this. Just like that. But there are various ways to do it. Just experiment. You might turn the unicycle, or you might turn your body like this. Like that. Oh. All right, so that's it. Hopefully that gives you some beginner motivation for sideways wheel walk. It's a very, very difficult trick, but you know, practice makes perfect. Just be patient. The next thing that you're going to want to work on if you want to learn sideways wheel walk is to just see how many revs you can get. Just like this. And just when you lose balance, get back up again, see how much you can do it. And then, you know, one day you'll look like this. Ka pai e hoa ma, ka nui tēnā, kua oti te akoranga mo tēnei rā. That's it for today. And I gotta say, this one was a bit of a difficult one to film. I'm kind of peaking out in terms of my ability as a freestyle unicyclist. So this is the last of the general skills episodes. But I will be focusing more on the street and flatland episodes. And I have a lot of experience to give my advice within those two categories. So you can expect a lot more episodes in the future, and I'm excited to focus on them. So as always, thank you so much. If you want early access to the next UniQuest episode and extra content, I do have a Patreon, and a big mihi to all of you who are on there. You've been supporting me for so long, and yeah, just a lot of gratitude going out to all of you. Peace out. See you in the next episode.